So today, I'll start that again, I think. So today we're going to be looking at why I love this video game, Beyond Good and Evil. And what does it say on the back of the box? On the back of the box it says, expose the conspiracy, capture the truth. A government conspiracy wreaks havoc upon the planet Hilliers. As a rebellious action reporter Jade, you must penetrate your leader's web of lies and expose their horrific secrets. In a world of deception, believe in nothing except yourself. I love that. So let's get into this one. This is why I love Beyond Good and Evil. Hello, this is Sophie Lawson from sophielawson.com, and this is 6 reasons why I love the video game Beyond Good and Evil, which is a video game I just finished recently. I got to say it's one of my favourites. So before I get into my 6 reasons why I love Beyond Good and Evil, here's a little bit about the game, quoted from beyondgoodandevil.fandom.com, and I'll put links and everything in the description. But it says, this is what they said on the website, it said, Beyond Good and Evil is an action-adventure video game developed and published by Ubisoft and released in late 2003 for the GameCube, PC, PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox. The story follows the adventures of Jade, an investigative who works with a resistance movement called the Iris Network to reveal a planet-wide alien conspiracy. The player controls Jade solving puzzles, fighting enemies and obtaining photographic evidence, as well as companions whom the player can control via button commands. The game runs on the Jade engine, created for Beyond Good and Evil and named after its main character. I thought that was cool, that. They named it the Jade engine. That sounds cool. But it also says Michael Ansel, creator of the Rayman series, envisioned the game as the first part of a trilogy. Beyond Good and Evil was a commercial failure due to its ill-timed release and lack of popularity. However, it was critically acclaimed and received a nomination for Game of the Year at the 2004 Game Developers' Choice Awards. In 2010, the game was included as one of the titles in the book 1001 Video Games You Must Play Before You Die. The sequel, Beyond Good and Evil 2, is currently in development, and that's where we stand now. But I've also put this little bit here. So this is me talking now. They also released a HD version in 2011 on the Xbox 360 via Xbox Live and on the PS3 via PSN. You can also buy the HD remaster physically, but only on Xbox via a triple pack which included From Dust and Outland. So I originally played Beyond Good and Evil on the original Xbox back in 2003, but I remember getting stuck somewhere and I never finished it. So I picked it up the day it came out on the PS3 back in, 2011, but I didn't play it until this year. 2020 I played it. So in total it took me 17 years to finish. I thought it was quite funny. It took me 17 years to finish the game. But all footage in this video is from the PS3 HD remaster, and I've limited it to only the first hour or so of gameplay to avoid spoilers. But some of the latest settings are amazing. I really wish I could film those and put them in the video, but I don't want to spoil it. So let's get into my 6 reasons why I love Beyond Good and Evil. I should start with the story really, but honestly, I want to start with the stars of the shows. The stars of the show, the characters. So the first reason why I love Beyond Good and Evil is the characters. And in my notes I said, a talking pig, just an average everyday girl, relationships, all had very different shapes and personalities, and it was like a bunch of aliens all living together, which it reminded me a lot of Mass Effect. So there's a lot of cool characters in this world, but my personal favourites were Jade, and Jade is the main character, and she's just an average everyday girl. So she's into like martial arts, photography, and she's also a caretaker of an orphanage, which is a little lighthouse that you live in the game. And what I loved about her is she was a very strong, intelligent and powerful protagonist, but she isn't sexualised at all. She's almost like the girl next door. She's just an average girl, which is cool. I really like that, because you could sort of like relate to her. And as someone who loves playing as female characters, I really connected with her. I also loved her casual dress sense. I thought it was quite cool. So what I loved about her visually was I loved her casual dress sense. I loved the green colour theme that they picked, including little things like a green lipstick. I thought it was really cool, and I also liked her overall cool vibe. Yeah, I think visually she was a really, really cool character, because what it is she's a very sort of normal looking character, but she's got a lot of character, I love that. And then Jade was voiced by the voice actress Jodie Forrest, who sadly died in 2017. She had worked on other things like the video game 13 and Ratatouille, but Jodie's voice was perfect for Jade. I really feel like one of the reasons I connected with Jade, one of the reasons she was such a fun character, was her voice. I feel like voice acting is such an important part, so her death means that Jade will be voiced by someone else in Beyond Good and Evil 2. So I don't know whether they're going to try and sort of, replicate the voice or something, or maybe they'll just go for something completely different. But she's definitely going to be missed.
Secundo, we're stuck here. No hovercraft, no shield. Optima has cut off the power. The account is empty.
My next favourite character is Pey'j. Pey'j is the talking pig. That's all you need to know really, is a talking pig. How cool is that? Well, he's the uncle of Jade, and he often fights and puzzle solves alongside you, but really he's bursting with sassiness. For me, he's such a fun character. He's not just a fun character in terms of his personality, but it's the way he looks as well. What I visually loved about him was his fat round shape, which I felt like his big round fat shape, it complemented Jade's more thin long shape perfectly. So I really liked that. I thought they were a really nice double act. His face as well, he's got a big nose and lots of expression in his face, which is cool. I liked the way he was all about the gadgets as well, like his rocket boots. He was almost like a little sort of Inspector Gadget or something. He was cool. And then also the banter between him and Jade was brilliant. And again, that goes down to the voice acting as well. Because as you're playing, what'll happen is as you're playing, you hear the voice, you hear them talking to each other and stuff. So Pey'j was voiced by David Gassman, and he does lots of stuff, including voicing for my favourite video games, Heavy Rain, Fahrenheit, and Detroit Become Human. So he's a big one, this one. And he's also, the cool thing is, he's returning to voice Pey'j in Beyond Good and Evil too. So that's like super cool, that is.
That you, Jade? We just got one of them M discs. Might be another job for Jade Reporting and Company. If you can read it now and give me a chance to adjust this stupid decoder player that refuses to obey its master. Gotcha.
One of my other favourite characters is Woof. So Woof is a big fluffy white pet dog. He lives in the lighthouse with Jade and Pey'j, but he's always bouncing about. He's like super happy, and for me he was one of my instant loves. As soon as I first saw him, I fell in love with him. What I visually loved about him was his fun poses. He was always like sat in these fun sort of silly poses and stuff. Yeah, it made him really like sort of cuddly, which was something I loved about him, was his cuddliness. And I loved the fact as well you couldn't see his eyes because they were covered by his hair. He was funny, he was.
Can't play now, okay? Oh, no, Wolf, no!
And then my final favourite character was May, M-E-I. So May is a talking cat humanoid sort of character. Yeah, feline humanoid really. And she works for the Iris Network, which is the same network that Jade is working for as a photojournalist. What I visually loved about May was I loved her blueness, because she really stood out. Very unique character. I loved her sexiness, because she was like the cat side of her. The cat side of her with her eyes, her cat eyes and stuff. I found it super sexy. I also liked her dark outfit, which was a bit mysterious, which sort of goes in with the character really. She is quite a mysterious character, this one. But I loved as well the shape of her head and body proportions. Again, this created a really nice silhouette that complemented all the other characters. You had really nice shapes in this game. All the characters were really nice shapes. You had big fat ones, you had like little fluffy ones, thin ones. It was really cool. Of all the characters I really want to know more about May. I'd like to play a game. I'd like to play a game with her as a lead character. I think she'd be super interesting. I think she'd be a really cool character to study as well. Really cool character this. These are some of my favourites, but there's a bunch more. Like there's a pair of funky Jamaican elephants who run the local Mamago garage. So really this game is bursting with crazy characters, and they all help bring together my next reason why I love Beyond Good and Evil. The story.
Got a speedcraft motor here together. A speedcraft motor. No problem.
For this bit, I'm going to read a little excerpt from the synopsis on the website beyondgoodandevil.fandom.com. It reads as follows. It says, Jade and Pey'j are caretaking the children of Helios, orphaned by the Doms. When Jade runs out of enough units to run the shield that protects them, she finds a photography job, cataloguing all the species on Helios for a science museum. She is recruited by the Iris network, which suspects that the Alpha sections are behind planet-wide disappearances. So I don't want to say too much else, because a large part of the fun of this game is uncovering the story. What I said in my notes though was how much the story mimics the current situation we find ourselves in with this fake virus and all the propaganda and stuff. I couldn't believe how much this game, it really did feel like, well, if you're at the moment, if you think this whole thing is a fake virus and we're being lied to by the media and stuff, this game is really going to resonate with you. And it's weird. It took me 17 years to play this game, but I do wonder whether the universe wanted me to play this game at this time, because it's amazing how fitting this game is. The thing is, I also liked the game. I also liked how the gameplay was linked in with the story, like sneaking about to take photos, solving puzzles and collecting animals. It leads me into reason number 3 as to why I love Beyond Good and Evil, which is taking photos.
How exactly do you propose we do that?
They are completely aware that an uprising of the population would spell catastrophe. Bring the proof of this conspiracy to the people, and victory will be ours. More than ever, Jade, the Iris Network needs people like you. Help us fight the good fight.
I found your camera, Jade. I put it right over there.
Nowadays, most games have some form of photo mode, but back in 2003, when I first played Beyond Good and Evil, taking photos in the game was a bit of a novelty, really. And I remember falling in love with this part of the game. It was the thing that hooked me from the off. And now, having played it on the PS3, I was just as happy snapping away, taking photos. And the fun thing is how seamlessly taking photos links in with the gameplay and story. Because you're a photojournalist whose job it is to go around taking photos of evidence for the conspiracy, whilst also taking photos of the different species of animals in the world for a bit of extra money on the side. And it's so much fun. That's the thing. That's the cool thing. Like, you can whip your camera out whenever you want. You just push the right bumper button, you get your camera out, and you can take a photo of anything. You can either take a photo for your own personal album, or you can like take photos of animals to build your collection and stuff. It's so fun though. And the thing is, you don't have to do it when you don't want to. You can push forward with the story, but even the story is going to be asking you to take photos. Like you're going to have to sneak into these buildings and stuff and take photos of things. It's brilliant. So I'll show you my own personal photo album, but it includes spoilers. So here's a few photos outside the lighthouse. And I feel like this really shows the next reason why I love Beyond Good and Evil, which is the atmosphere. In my notes, this is what I said in my notes for atmosphere. I said, living, breathing world feels alive. It's like you're part of it. Mini games like table hockey thing. The world evolves as you progress. Everyone is going about their life. You get little messages from your friends while you're on missions, which creates like a sense of atmosphere. You feel like you're part of a secret group on this like big epic mission, almost a bit like the what's it called? That film, The Goonies. It's almost like sort of The Goonies or something. It's cool. And then I've also put, you're in outer space and can look up at the sky and planets around you. So again, you get your camera out, you can zoom in on the planets and stuff. It's cool. There's a nice balance of nature and technology, creating this sort of strange atmosphere. Lots of animals going about their thing. You've got the lighthouse, which is really cool. You've got the hoverboat. Again, the fact that you can jump in your hoverboat whenever you want and explore the world, it creates a lot of atmosphere. And also, I've put exploring is cool. So the atmosphere is incredible. There's such a nice vibe about the world of Beyond Good and Evil. And for an old game, because this game's now like, 17 years old now, you can see the limitations, like the world not being as big as you would see nowadays on modern consoles, and also the loading between sections. It breaks the immersion a bit, but the world really does feel alive. It's up there with Mass Effect. For me, it really is. It's up there with Mass Effect, because you feel like you're part of something much bigger than you. You feel like it's a world that continues when you shut the console off. Almost like imagine all these characters are still like busy doing their thing as we speak. That'd be cool, that. And then it says, what have I put? I said, yeah, if they remade this exact game, but from the ground up on PS3, I think it could be incredible. But then in a strange way, the limitations they faced on PS2 hardware, it sort of forced them to create a super compact world, where everything was spaced to perfection, and there was nothing there for the sake of being there. So it's almost like, maybe if there was acres of space between locations, it would lose some of its life. So I felt like maybe the limitations of the PS2 actually helped create this amazing atmosphere, because everything was spaced to perfection. Because like nowadays, a lot of games, there's lots of games where there's just acres of space with nothing in it, and it's a bit, for me, I don't like stuff like that. Yeah, sometimes modern day games, they just put stuff there for the sake of it. This game, for me, is perfection. But so there's one thing that will stand the test of time, and it's the next reason I love Beyond Good and Evil, which is the visuals.
Golly, starting to get a bit thirsty all of a sudden. Not you?
This game is gorgeous. It's super tasty. It was lovely looking back in 2003 on the PS2, but with the HD remaster on PS3, they were able to add just an extra little layer of polish, like removing the jaggies, and it's resulted in a game that I think it will visually look beautiful forever, and it's because of this big chunky visual style. Because whereas a lot of PS2 games try to go realistic, Beyond Good and Evil, it opted for a more, it's like almost like a cartoony style. It reminds me a lot of like a Nintendo game, with the bright colours and big shapes and stuff. And the thing is, we all know that Nintendo games, they don't age. Yeah. So like you look back at some PS2 games now and they look hideous, because they were trying to create realism on a system that wasn't really ready for it. It's why a lot of Super Nintendo games age better than, say, PS2 games. It's those nice big bastard basic shapes. And like the thing is, those shapes, they can't really look any better than they already are. So they're always going to look amazing. So for me, this game hit the sweet spot visually. And also, it hit the sweet spot with my final reason of why I love Beyond Good and Evil, which is the sound.
I didn't realize your pliers came equipped with the club option.
Model D50 lady. Slices, dices, and pounds.
You know this DeCastellat guy?
Huh? Can't go there, Jade. Smells like a trap. It's too dangerous.
The sound almost unifies all my other reasons really, like how the voice acting brings life to the characters. You really enjoy watching the cutscenes and listening to the banter as you go about your adventure with the other characters. Atmosphere is also heightened by each location having set music. Yeah man, like the, what's it called here man? Like the funky music in the Mama Go. It's Jamaican music. I can't stop singing it man. I can't stop singing along to it whenever I go in there to upgrade my hoverboard man.
The radio say they're gonna be another attack. Don't get caught off guard.
I love that place, you know. Lots of good things in there. Also, I love the way the news reports constantly play in the background. So you're walking around the world, you can hear these news reports in the background, just loud enough so you can hear it. If you focus on it, you can hear it, but it's never overpowering. It's beautiful that. But what's cool is, as you progress through the story, these news reports they evolve with you. So you'll hear them talking about something, an event that you've just been part of. It's cool that. But I could list so many reasons why I love Beyond Good and Evil, but one of the things I loved most was the sense of wonder as you progressed through the game. New gameplay mechanics opened up as new parts of the world did. As you levelled up your skills, so did the world around you. The fact Jade has a photo album is fitting, because this game is full of memorable moments. That's why I love Beyond Good and Evil.